Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing another top 5 / top 10. This is going to be a different video from my last top 10. I know that I haven't finished the top 10 Pokemon that would thrive from a new move series, but I will be finishing that probably by January. Since also the new moves have dropped, I'm able to make new content at the beginning of the season to be able to kind of fortify that video for a little bit. But today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 unreleased Pokemon in Pokemon Go that would thrive in the Go Battle League after release. And these are Pokemon that come, I think all of Gen 4 is released, but Gen 5 and later has not been released into Pokemon Go. So I'm going to be taking all of those Pokemon that haven't been released and ranking them on how likely they are to thrive in the Go Battle League according to PvPoke rankings and statistics. So this list is made solely on statistics and solely on predicted movesets when these Pokemon are released. So take it with a grain of salt, don't take it too seriously or literally, but this is just something that you can kind of gauge on what to start gearing towards in Pokemon Go whenever these things get close to being released, and this will give you an idea on which Pokemon to grind for each league in the Go Battle League. So without further ado, I'm going to get into the list, and starting off at number 5 we have Tricity. Tricity is an electric poison type, and I think it comes out in Gen 6, but I might not be 100% correct. This thing has a pretty poor stat product, 136 attack, 131 HP, and 91.4 defense, so on the glassier side, but it has a really high attack, and it has Poison Jab as the fast move, so basically anything that's not a ground type or a steel type is going to struggle against this thing pretty hard. But even the steel types you have some pretty decent coverage against with Power Up Punch and Wild Charge. Also, I don't know why my bar at the bottom keeps coming up, but I'm going to try and see if that'll go away. Otherwise, I might just try and crop it out. But so the moveset: Poison Jab, Wild Charge, and Power Up Punch. So you have a really nice coverage move with Wild Charge. You have Power Up Punch to ramp up those Poison Jabs. So this thing is really solid. Obviously, its hardest weakness is going to be Galarian Stunfisk, but other than that, you have a lot of play in the meta. Even against Pokemon like Skarmory, some Psychic types, you still have the raw damage of Poison Jab, and then you have Wild Charge to hit hard. So the win-loss ratio, 543 wins, 177 losses. So this thing, if it was thrown into the current meta right now, it would have a 75.4% win rate, and I think it would be pretty meta in the game. Now, the Shadow variant of this Pokemon is actually not preferred compared to the regular version, so if you are looking forward to building this thing, you don't have to worry about grinding for Shadow Pokemon. So that's something that's good to know, and I'm going to have this in the entire list. So getting on to number 4, we have Corrinite. This thing is very, very similar to Skarmory in the fact that it is a flying steel type, and it is also a very tanky bird. So the stat product, it's got 107.6 attack, which is on the very, very low side, but it makes up for its low attack in its mediocre defense at 128 and its very high HP. So this will be pretty similar to Skarmory in the fact that it is a tanky flying steel type bird with a good stat product, and the moveset is also pretty similar, having Air Slash, Brave Bird, and Drill Peck. So you have Drill Peck instead of Sky Attack, but I think since this thing's going to be a little bit better stat product wise, you're going to want to have Drill Peck from a developer standpoint, so it kind of balances itself out. Win-loss ratio picks up 551 wins, 169 losses, so I think it's picking up 8 more wins than Tricity's picking up 8 more wins, and that boosts its win rate up to 76.5%. And also, just like Tricity, you do not want to go for the Shadow variant of Corviknight. You're actually going to be picking up more wins with the regular version. But I think that Corviknight will be very similar to Skarmory in the GBL, but it also allows for a double Steel Bird line. You could run something like a ground type in the lead, whether that's Galarian Stunfisk or a different ground type, and then you run Pokemon Skarmory and Corviknight. So basically you just need Bastiodon coverage and then your 2 flying steals in the back. And you can make a pretty spicy line out of it. So I think that this thing would be pretty fun in the meta. It would allow for an alternative to Skarmory. So that's why I have it number 4, based off of the statistics of the win rate and you know, every other factor weighed into it as well. So number 3, we have a very interesting Pokemon. We have Carbin. This thing is a rock fairy type, which I don't think there's any in the game right now. So a new type would be in the game. This thing's stat product is wild. So it's got 85 attack, which is super low, 126 HP, which is fairly mediocre. But the defense stat, 247.8 defense, which I think is on Blissey levels of bulk, because I think Chansey has like 300 defense or 300 HP or something, which is just absurd. But not only does this thing have a really solid stat product, it also has a pretty good moveset. It's got Rock Throw as a fast move, so you got a lot of fast move pressure, and then you have a lot of good stab coverage moves with Rock Slide and Moonblast. So you have Dragon coverage, you have Flying type coverage, you have Dark type coverage. You know, it's pretty solid. The win-loss ratio, you're picking up 564 wins, 156 losses. This is just like the other two, no ties, but this thing has a 78.3% win rate in the GBL, which I think would be pretty high up there in the game right now. Something I'm realizing is all 3 Pokemon on this list are going to be relatively weak to G-Fisk, so you throw this thing with something like a fighter or something that can counter those steel types, and you're going to be looking pretty solid. Shadow is not preferred. This thing is already so bulky that I don't think you want to boost this attack. I think it's kind of made for its bulk. So that is number 3, being Carbin. So a fairy type, which is pretty cool. I don't think it's going to be able to learn Charm. I think a super duper tanky Pokemon with Charm would just break the game. So very good that Niantic won't be putting Charm on this thing. Number 2, we have a Duraleddon. This thing is, I would say, as closely related to Dialga in the game. It is a Steel Dragon type, so it has the same moveset as Dialga, and having a Great League Dialga I think would be relatively healthy for the meta, honestly. This thing's stat product is pretty flipped on its head compared to the other Pokemon on this list. It has a very high attack, 139 attack, and then its defense and HP are very low, so 111.6 defense, 104 HP, so it's pretty glassy. Actually, it's extremely glassy, but it has a really solid moveset with a lot of resistances, so that makes up for it. And also, its moveset makes up for it. It runs Dragon Tail, Dragon Claw, so it has a really solid Dragon moveset, but it also has Flash Cannon for coverage against Fairy types. So I don't think there's going to be anything in this game that insanely hard counters this thing. You know, ground types will have a lot of play, fairy types will have a solid amount of play, but you do have to watch out for Flash Cannon, so it'll be pretty interesting in the meta whenever this Pokemon is released. The win-loss ratio that it'll be picking up is 566 wins and 151 losses and 3 draws, which compared to Carbin, you have 2 more wins, 5 less losses, but you're picking up 3 draws, so your win rate is boosted by 0.3%, and this is the first Pokemon on the list where you actually want the Shadow variant. I think that this thing already being so glassy and having high attack is going to even more so benefit from having the Shadow. So if they ever decide to release Shadow Duraleddon in the game, you're going to be picking up 10 more wins than you would with normal Duraleddon. So this thing is going to be pretty solid in the meta, and I think it'll be a staple in the game. Definitely going to be one of the top 10/top 20 picks in the Open Great League, and I think it'll change up the meta quite a little bit. So before we get to number 1, I do have a couple honorable mentions. First off, we have Duraleddon, which actually is going to be released in the game, I think, as this video goes up. I think this video is going up on Tuesday at noon. I have been recording this on Monday, but I already have uploaded a video today, so maybe I'll double upload, but I think this video is going to be going up on Tuesday, so enjoy some back-to-back uploads. But let's get a little bit into Duraleddon. as you guys are watching this is probably released in the game, so kind of goes against the title of top 5 unreleased Pokemon, but this thing is an honorable mention, and it is not in the game as I'm making this video. Definitely not in the game as I made this list. So Duraleddon is a pure dragon type. I don't think it evolves. I don't think it evolves from anything, so that's pretty cool. Stat product, pretty similar to Duraleddon. It's got a high attack stat, 131.4, and then low defense and low HP, 110.5 defense, 117 HP. And the moveset is, I think, what's going to make this thing pretty fun in the game. This thing runs Dragon Tail as the fast move, and then Dragon Claw and Night Slash. So pretty similar to Haxorus. I think Haxorus has all 3 of these moves as well, but Duraleddon doesn't have counter. But the win-loss ratio that it's going to be picking up in the Great League as we speak is 534 wins, 184 losses, and 2 draws, picking up a 74.2% win rate. And the crazy statistic here that I think everybody is going to want to look forward to is that this thing picks up 20 matchups with the Shadow variant compared to the non-Shadow variant. So if Shadow Duraleddon gets released in the game anytime soon, I would absolutely advise to go for it. This thing is going to be a meta monster in the Great League with the Shadow variant of this Pokemon. So it's going to be a really solid pick in the GBL. So look forward to the Dragon event that is going to be happening for the next, I think, 6 or so days. Other Pokemon that I have is Carkol / Colossal. I think Carkol evolves into Colossal. In the Great League, I think Carkol is going to be the better option, but Colossal has some solid play in the Ultra League. So you could probably even run a team consisting of Carkol and Colossal if you wanted to run, a double Rock Fire team and just really, really heavily cover your weakness to grass, or not to grass, to water, with a grass type. But this thing's stat product, I'm going to be presenting this Pokemon / stat line from Carkol's perspective instead of Colossal. So this is actually Carkol's stat product, Carkol's moveset, and I see that I messed up the word moveset. I put moveset instead of putting the T, but that's okay. So the stat product is very good on this Pokemon. 97.6 attack, which is low, but then you have 142 defense and 165 HP, 2300 stat product almost, which is really, really, really good in the game. This moveset of this Pokemon, Incinerate, so the expensive, or the very slow throwing but fast charging fire type moveset, and Rock Slide and Flame Charge being the charge moves. So Rock Slide, one of the best moves in the game, and then Flame Charge can ramp up that Incinerate damage. So it'll basically be a rock type version of Talonflame. So it's going to be really, really solid. You have to watch out for water types for sure, but this thing has some really solid play even against Pokemon like G-Fisk, even though you're going to be double weak to the ground type moves. The win-loss ratio, 529 wins, 190 losses, and a draw. A 73.4% win rate, so this thing is going to be pretty solid in the meta. Probably, I think it'll be ranked around 50 or so. The Shadow variant is not preferred. Again, I think that the more attack-weighted Pokemon benefit from having Shadow versions, and I think the more tanky Pokemon are better off not being Shadows because you want that bulk, but on these more glassy Pokemon you want the attack. So Shadow variant not preferred, but Carkol or Colossal, you can run either of them, you can run both of them, but Carkol will be slightly better in the Great League. It does matter a little bit. I think Carkol picks up a couple matchups that Colossal might not, but it's going to be very, very close, and I haven't dug very deep into which matchups they are, so honestly, either one, it doesn't really matter. But you guys have been waiting. Let's get to number 1, Aegislash. This Pokemon is a Steel Ghost type, which I think personally is going to be the best typing in the game. Your triple resisting any normal type moves. You're a steel type that is not weak to fighting. You still have the ground type weakness, you still have a fire type weakness, and then since you're a ghost type you have a dark type weakness, but this thing has insane stats, insane moves, an insane win-loss ratio, and is gonna probably break the meta if it's released, but it does have some counters. So the stat product of this thing, 82 attack, so very low attack, but it has 246 defense, which is through the roof, kind of like Carbin, but this thing is actually, it has a better typing and it has better moves, so it's gonna be a lot better than Carbin. And then 135 HP, so a respectable HP stat. This thing's moveset, it runs Fury Cutter and Psycho Cut for the fast moves, but according to the simulations, I think Fury Cutter actually would be better, which might come as a surprise to some of you guys. But then the charge moves are Shadow Ball and Flash Cannon, so two expensive but kind of nukey charge moves, but you also have a very fast charging Psycho Cut and Fury Cutter, so solid moveset. Honestly, any Pokemon would probably benefit from having any of those moves, but the win-loss ratio that Aegislash will be picking up is 613 wins, so the first Pokemon to have 600 plus wins, I think probably in the Great League, so I think this thing would be rank 1 in the Great League, but also, you know, you have ground type and fire type counters, so you're not immortal, but 106 losses and 1 draw, so this thing has an 85% win rate in the GBL, so I think if they want to release this to Pokemon Go, they probably want to change up the moveset just a little bit to make it a little bit less OP, because as it stands, this thing will be the best Pokemon in the game. So if you thought that this thing was already OP, it benefits from being a Shadow, which is insane to me because it's so tanky, but its moves, I think its moves hit so hard that having the Shadow just makes it that much better, kind of like Swampert. Like the Hydro Cannon hits so hard, so having a Shadow Hydro Cannon is so much better, like for a lot of flying type matchups especially. But you pick up 8.5 wins with the Shadow variant, so I don't know if Shadow Aegislash will ever come to the game, even like 5 years from now, but if it ever does, that's going to be #1 on my priority list. It should probably be #1 on everyone else's priority list, but Shadow Aegislash will be insanely solid in the game. It doesn't max out at close to 2500 CP, so it won't be incredible in the Ultra League, but I think even like an 1900 CP Aegislash still will have a positive win rate in the Ultra League, so that's insane, but that's going to round off our top 5, so this thing is the #1 unreleased Pokemon that would thrive in the Great League, and it's not even close. If Aegislash was released right now, it would instantly change the meta, flip it on its head. It would make Pokemon like Noctowl fall off. It would make Pokemon like, let's see, just any normal type, honestly, like Pidgeot, Vigoroth, it add another counter to it. It'll take on a lot of ghost types. It will take on a lot of fairy types. It'll take on, I mean, like poison types, bug types, psychic types. It's just gonna wall off a lot of the meta, so it would definitely flip up the PvPoke rankings, that's for sure. But this thing even looks pretty cool. I guess that's like it looks like a shuriken on its stomach, but maybe like brass hands or something, but I don't know, cool, really cool design. Yeah, you can run Psycho Cut or Fury Cutter on Aegislash, but it's going to be really strong. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy. Look forward to Duraleddon coming out into the game. Enjoy your Dragon event, and definitely make sure to catch some Dratinis, some Duraleddons, and some Dragonair, Vibrava, and Dino, and I think a couple others. I think Vulpix you can get some XL candy for. So definitely grind that event. It's going to be really solid. But other than that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.